F1 is the pinnacle of motorsport and has been every year since 1950. And the big debate which is going on, or big, is which sim is the best for F1. And the question is, people always sometimes answer, it's iRacing due to its superior physics, and having the Mercedes F1 car. Then you have F1 with Codemasters with the F1 game saying, it's a lot better since it has every car and all of that. And what I'm going to tell you is that you're all wrong today, because the best sim is AMS2 or Automobilista 2. And today I'm going to show you why. And let's start in an old car around a very old circuit in an old configuration. So let's go. Okay, so welcome to Spa in the 1970s. And today I'm driving the Lotus 49C. So let's see how good this car is. And obviously I have to come up with arguments to why AMS2 is the best for historic racing, but especially F1. And as a lot of you might know, is that AMS2 has a lot, it's specializing sort of in historic content. Because, or I don't know why, but it does that. But it has a very old cars, some of them actually real, and some of them just generic versions of real cars, such as they have their Formula Vintage, they have the Formula Classic, and then they have other cars such as the Formula Ultimates, which are the newest ones. And then with that they also have old versions of circuits, such as here, Spa from 1970. What could be the most famous version also is the 1971 version of the Nürburgring Nordschleife and Südschleife. And what's so good about them is that most of it, or some parts of it, are laser scanned. And these are natively made, unlike your ASAC mods, which could be hit and miss, and it could be whatever, but these are made by the Razer guys, so you know that the quality will be there. And you can see here that with the attention to detail they have in the car, the track, and also the physics has gotten a big update in V1.5, but also it has gotten a big update in V1.5.1, where the tires are feeling a lot peakier. And what that means is that you can't power steer as much, which is what you can do a lot with in RF2 or Fractal 2. And you can see this car around this circuit, it was a very old style, so you got a lot of interesting action because it's mainly just long straight. So you can see that you can see that Le Mans is from this time. But what happens if you jump a bit later in time to a time where F1 got, I believe, turbo engines and also got other drivers and a bit more aerodynamic. Welcome to Imola 1971. And today, or now, it's time to drive the Brabham BT-46B, which I accidentally drove the wrong way. But since I don't have damage on, I can do that. But welcome to Imola 1971, driving the Brabham BT-46B, which is mostly known as the fan car. So if you don't know about the car, I believe it was revealed in 1976 at the Swedish Grand Prix, where a different year, or before or after, I don't fully remember, the six-wheeled, I believe it was Tyrrell, was revealed. And this car used a fan to suck it down to the ground, which created downforce. And I believe I don't know the circuit so well, but I believe Niki Lauda got to drive it, and he qualified, I think it was like over 1 second to the rest of the field with a fully fueled Brabham BT-46B. So it was very good, and I'm not doing it justice, as you can see, because yeah, I'm not so used to driving manual cars. But you can see that this car is very wild and loves to drive. And here you can also see the attention to detail in the Italian suburbs with the trees and everything. And hopefully they will be adding maybe some things to make life for me easier, and also something called 3D trees. But let me get into it a bit in a different car, because you saw I crashed and probably died. So let's change car and let's change track, and hopefully I am a better driver that time. Welcome to Interlagos 1976, I believe, and in the most dominant car to date. And I know Red Bull might beat this record, but they still have lost one race since Carlos Sainz just won a few hours ago as of recording this. But let's get to the car called the MP44. And this car, I've driven it before in this sim, but I won't be doing this justice. And if you want to know why they added this in, except it being one of the most dominant cars, well, the most dominant car of all time, is because it was driven by, in my opinion, the best driver pairing of all time. The French, I believe, 5-time champion Alain Prost, and the, I believe, 3-time Brazilian world champion Ayrton Senna. And since the racer are Brazilian, they obviously had to add this in. And I think I read that the guy had gone like a decade to try and make this car. So it's been a very long time. I think he had issues with recording the sound. But I just must say that that decade of work really shows in the quality of the car, and especially the sound. It's very nice. Let me be quiet for a second. Well, you got to hear there what happens when it goes wrong, but still, don't blame the car, blame the driver, especially this time. But if I crash, it's definitely the car. This car just sounds awesome, and it handles really well too. I can see how it won so many championships. And I'm looking forward to Razer adding more McLarens if they do, because that would be really fun. But I also want some other cars which are more technologically advanced from maybe not this time, but from a similar time when, or well, it was a bit later, when the technology was very advanced with active suspension, and the car I can remember is the FW14B. But I would really hope Razer to add those cars and with those features. That would be a lot of fun, but we'll have to see. You can see here the attention to detail in the circuit. But what I was speaking of before was 3D trees, and that's because I think it's the people, the clouds, and some other objects are 2D in design, which I've heard are some issues with when driving in VR. But they've added 3D trees for historic buffers, which shows that can be added, and they look really good. So hopefully they will be added in the future to the rest of the circuits. Really push this car. It really wants to go where you want it to go. And here comes the corner again, and me shifting down a bit, missing fourth and going down to second, and me spinning, which isn't good obviously. But let's, as usual, take a newer car and let's take it around a newer circuit. I'll just have to find one which correlates to that period of time. Well, welcome to Spa again, the 1991 layout, but I think this car drove there. I believe it's the 1999 or 2000 championship winning McLaren with Mika Häkkinen. And obviously, since it's an F1 car from that time, we are going V10, so let's listen. Bit anticlimactic there. Oh, that car sounds nice. Sounds lovely. I'm sitting a bit low in the cockpit, but that will be okay for this lap. So now you get to see how wonderful Spa is from this time. And you will hear the car, how wonderful it is. Just revving and revving and revving. So high. Just sounding so amazingly. And obviously Spa hasn't changed so much, but something AMS2 does very well is simulate the different grip levels in the tire, in the asphalt. So apparently if you drive around Kansai, which is Suzuka, you will be able to feel the low grip that circuit has. And these historic versions are just apparently part 1 of the historic car pack, and they will be bringing a few more car packs, or well, parts of this historical car pack I've heard. And hopefully we get a older Suzuki, because I've heard that that's a very good layout. And here we come to the bus stop chicane, which I didn't fully prepare for. So they usually just go so quick through there. They're super quick, these cars. And I obviously don't know them so well. But these were some of them. This is one of the... This era is definitely one of my favorites. But also you can do these incidents. So now we're in the Formula Racer around Kansai, also known as Suzuki. And it also has an amazing V8 engine with the blown diffuser. I don't know what this, but this car also sounds amazing. There was the V8 engine after all. And then when F1, and then the FIA and Formula 1 management destroyed the engines by moving into a V6 hybrid. And I'm just driving so badly. Could be me having to adjust my driving style for the new tires, because these cars feel a lot more understeery than they used to. Okay, let me just move the brake bias a bit backwards. You can see the circuit looks also very nice, and the cars look as nice, and they also sound even nicer. Because one thing which I really like about the MS2 is the audio. The cars sound really good, and the circuits also look quite alright, but they don't... Some things about it just don't feel like they pop. And then you also have the problem with the anti-aliasing. But hopefully, I think Razer were going to going to hire a graphical engineer. So that hopefully has or will help them, since they need to improve quite a bit with this whilst they're adding cars, because they obviously want to add cars to get sales, but they also want to fix bugs so we users don't also leave, because I've heard there are quite a bit of network issues, and then you also have issues such as I said, the anti-aliasing was a big issue. But this car and track combination is quite good. You can also see, I think, the slip angle in the dashboard, but yeah, this car was the last great one. You can see I'm also not fully used to the pointiness, because the newer F1 cars are a bit more sluggish. But let's see how the Formula Ultimate Gen 2 compares So all of these cars I've driven today. Well, welcome to my favorite track in the game, as for now, until a more gets added. And a car I like quite a bit to drive. The Formula Ultimate Gen 2. I haven't driven it in the beta for a little while, but let's see how it handles. You can see here it grips quite well, but still it's good. But yeah, this car is a lot less pointy than the other versions, the other ones. So, whilst I'm driving this car, what do you think about how the circuits look and how the cars seem to handle? Are they good? Are they bad? Comment it down below. Whilst you're down there, please hit the like button and also subscribe. All I'm saying is that the new AMS2 update, which will hopefully arrive soon, which is currently in beta, is really good. The tires feel a lot sharper. But I much prefer the Formula Ultimate Gen 1 because it's lighter and to me is, well, it is lighter and it's less and it's more pointy. It feels less sluggish like this, unlike this car which is heavy and feels a lot more sluggish. But still you can lose it, which is a good sign because they are not easy to drive. Now, as I said, comment down below what you think and all of those stuff. But what do I think? I think the codes are really good. The circuits, sometimes maybe because I'm not driving during a race or something, feel a bit bland. But that could also be the actual circuits and things. But to me, there are a few things which just feel a bit bland. But obviously, I don't know if you visit the real circuits, it might feel a bit different climate when driving them. I don't know how it is to drive a car on the circuit. The racer guys hopefully know or have some insight on it, so they have a better opinion. My next video will hopefully be on the update. We'll see what happens if they maybe add a mysterious car. I wouldn't know. I don't work for Razer. I'm just in the beta, and as far as I know, there are no cars. But until then, I've been Racing Legend. You've been my amazing viewers. Thank you for watching. Good.